once I am saved, am I always saved? So let's first go to Matthew chapter 18, verses 23 through 35. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to just paraphrase it. So there's a king, which represents God, and there's also a man, which represents us. And this man owed the king 10,000 talents. It was a servant of the king. Obviously, the man can't pay that back. That's far too much for any man to ever be able to pay back. So the king tells him he's going to throw his family and him into prison until he can repay it. The man begs the king, please be merciful unto me. And the king forgives him all of his debt. It's gone. However, immediately after this, that servant goes after one of his fellow servants who owed him money as well. And it was only 100 pence, a small amount compared to the 10,000 talents. And he chokes him and threatens to throw him into prison if he will not pay him back the money. The fellow servants hear about this and tell the king what had happened. That servant that you just forgave, he just went and choked another servant over a small amount. And that king grabbed that servant, had him thrown into prison until he could pay back that debt. So here we see that it is conditional that we are saved. It's conditional that we're forgiven. God forgave this man up until he was not forgiving other people. It shows that we have a belief and faith in God. There must be works to follow. Unforgiveness being a lack of works by faith. We see the same thing in Ezekiel 18, verses 21 through 24. It says, but if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he hath done, he shall live. So here we see that a wicked man can become righteous through his works. We can continue on. Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, saith the Lord God, and not that he should return from his ways and live? But when the righteous turn away from his righteousness, and committeth iniquity, and doth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, in them he shall die. So here we see again, a wicked man can become righteous, and a righteous man can become wicked and be lost. It is not an unconditional salvation. It is a conditional salvation. And this is really important for us to know. It is straight from hell. It's straight from the devil that people think that we could be saved once and for all and just continue in a life of sin, to continue in a life that does not glorify God. Faith without works is dead. Am I saying that it's through our merits and our works? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is Jesus and his merits alone. He saved us not of anything we did. There is no man good, no, not one. It's clear through Romans. But it's clear that faith must also bring forth good works. Let's show another example of this. In John 8:31, Jesus says, if you continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed. So Jesus shows a condition. If you want to continue to be my disciples, if you want to continue to be saved, you must continue in my word. And we see the same thing in Romans 11. Romans 11 talks about an olive tree. This olive tree representing the saved of Israel. So there's the natural branches, which represents the Jew, and there's the grafted in wild olive tree branches that represent the Gentile. So these natural olive branches, the Jew, were cast off, they were ripped off when they did not believe in Jesus. However, if they did believe in Jesus, they could be grafted back on. And in like manner, if the Gentile believes in Jesus, he will be grafted to the olive tree, even though he's a wild olive branch. But through disobedience and not following God anymore, he'll be cast off. So here we see another great example that salvation is very much conditional. And here we see the danger of once saved, always saved again. And just to back up with a few more Bible verses, if you're not convinced on this, Matthew 7:21, 1 Corinthians 9:26 through 27, 1 Corinthians 15:1 through 2, 2 Peter 2:20, John 15:1 through 2, Luke 14:33, 2 Peter 3:17, 1 Timothy 4:1, Revelation 2:7, verse 11, verse 17, verse 26, as well as Revelation chapter 3, verses 5, 12, and 21. Hope this video has been helpful for you. Thanks.